Hey everyone, if my hair looks very sad and floppy today, it's because I'm also kind of sad and floppy, and that's because I have some kind of serious news I really wanted to talk about. I usually try to do funny stuff on my channel. You know, I do a lot of Capcom content, and I usually try to keep it like funny and not so serious. But this is kind of a bleak topic that I felt I needed to speak out a little bit, and this is of course related to the Resident Evil 4 remake because of course it is. So, the Resident Evil 4 remake came out recently, as you all probably know, and an actress for that game is now getting harassed on the internet. Her name is Lily Gao. I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. I hope she doesn't take any offense to me doing so. I kind of want to speak in defense of her because this is a trend I've seen in the industry for years and years and years, and it's just this weird fucking thing the internet likes to do every now and then. The short summary is RE4 remake comes out. Lily Gao, she's actually the actress for Ada Wong. And as the actress for Ada Wong, Ada Wong, she's supposed to be this covert operator, And in the original game, she had kind of this seductive tone and mysterious thing going on with her, Now, I actually haven't gotten far enough in the remake to see Ada Wong in the remake, so I'm not going to judge Lily's performance because I just haven't witnessed it. I have no authority to judge it because I've just never seen it. Hence why I'm not going to be commenting on it. I do want to say I have heard people criticize it. I've heard reviewers, people I actually trust to give a very valid and, critical opinion on this. I have heard people I actually trust say that, her performance, it seems a little lackluster, but not in the way that you would think. It's not Lily Gao's fault. It seems to be, the criticism I've heard is that it has more to do with the writing of the game, which is, of course, completely out of control of the actress. When you're given a script, you gotta follow it, So, I'm here to deliver an important message, I didn't put on my heavy metal shirts, I didn't make sure my hair looked extra nice. My hair looks awful in every video, but I didn't put as much effort into it as I usually do. Because this is something I really needed to get off of my chest. I am so frustrated seeing this trend on the internet where people are not happy with one little thing about a video game and they go ahead and harass an actress. I couldn't find any articles of this. I don't know if it was just wiped off the internet or if my own memory of it is so incomplete that I'm just not able to find out where the fuck it was. But I remember some years ago with the Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider game that some people were upset about it being an Xbox exclusive or some bullshit. This is how incomplete my memory is. But so what happened is they actually went and harassed the lady who played Lara Croft in those games, which is so absurd because why? Why? She has nothing to do with it. So why? She was apparently sent death threats from what I recall. Here's a somewhat more definitive example though. The loving individual who played Abby in The Last of Us 2. I don't follow The Last of Us. I've never played these games. I probably should. I hear they're kind of cool. But but that's an example of another actress that was harassed due to something that honestly might not have been in her control. From what I understand, she was harassed because of the actions her character took, which an actress is not really responsible for. You're kind of handed a script and you're just supposed to recite it. All flaws within the writing, that's kind of handled by the writing team. An actress can improve bad writing, but I don't think that should be an actress's responsibility. I don't think that should be anyone's responsibility except for the person writing the fucking thing. And I think this is the heart of the issue with the Resident Evil 4 remake. A lot of the criticism that I have heard of Lily's character is that she ruins the remake because she's not seductive enough, or she's not mysterious enough, or that she plays a smaller role in the entire game. And here's the thing. That's not entirely her fault. Playing a smaller role in the entire game than in the original, she doesn't really have any control over that. And, less opportunities to be a seductive character, less opportunities to be a mysterious character written into the script. Again, not entirely her fault. So when I see this kind of criticism, I can't help but take her side, because looking at it and thinking about it in my own brain, it's kind of okay, is any of this valid criticism? If someone said, oh, I felt the delivery of your lines was a little off, and I would prefer to see you do it this way. See what I just did there? I gave criticism that could actually apply to her. If people had said something along the lines of that, something I could believe actually was the responsibility of a voice actress, then yeah, totally. I'm not going to take that opinion away from you. But that's not what I've been hearing. And when you're being accused for something that you don't have any control over, well, you don't have any control over it. So how exactly are you going to fix it? In response to this criticism, Lily had privated pretty much all of her Instagram posts except for one. And this is really unfortunate. I would hate to see, being an actor is kind of hard. I don't know if you guys have seen that whole Dhar Mann situation that happened like a good month ago, but it was like, I never realized just how shit it can be to be an actor until I saw the whole thing that was going on with Dhar Mann. You got this big company that hires like several actors, and many of them can't even afford to pay rent. And it's absurd because they're like the Dhar Mann people, it's like the Dhar Mann dad, it's the Dhar Mann mom, it's like, you have people who can't escape their roles in this production that they're not being paid properly for. And this is kind of what's started to happen with Lily. She played Ada in that horrible Resident Evil movie. It's not horrible because of her. And now I think Capcom enjoyed her performance enough to warrant upgrading her to sort of like the go-to Ada Wong person, And now she's Ada Wong in a full-fledged Resident Evil remake. The biggest one, the biggest, most anticipated remake to have come out so far, let me add. It's a very prestigious upgrade, but, I would hate to have come that far and then immediately be harassed by people until I just give up. So this video is kind of me giving condolences to Lily because she did not deserve this whatsoever. Like I said, you can't even argue that it's her fault because some of the criticisms you hear about her character, she doesn't really have any control over. However, the other reason I wanted to film this video is to give a little common sense, give a little bit of a PSA. My viewers, they probably do not need to hear this. None of my viewers, none of my fans have ever struck me as the kind of people who, lacked this kind of common sense, but I figured I would put it out there anyways, because, in the hopes that I can change someone out there, one of these people harassing her. Maybe they'll see this video and they might change their mind. I kind of doubt it. Typically when you're told you're doing something wrong, you just kind of ignore it. But, if I can at least plant the seeds that lead to future change in their perspective into how they go about criticizing people on the internet, if I can at least do that, I'll be happy with this video. So my PSA is called constructive criticism, and here's how it works. When you give regular criticism, i.e. you ruins the game because you're bad at acting, instead of saying that, how about, hey, your acting turned me off from this game. I feel like I would have liked the game more had you done this instead. See that? See what I did there? Maybe instead of being an incel on the internet, how about you say something useful? Instead of saying, your character needs to be more seductive, I need a boner when I play this game. How about saying, I typically identify Ada as a sexual character. So maybe in your performance you could have leaned a little more into that. That's not reflective of how I view Ada. Kind of weird to have a hard-on for a video game character, but go off, King. Please practice constructive criticism, because here's the thing. These same people who are harassing these women on the internet just for acting in a video game that didn't go 100% the way they hoped it would, these same people, they'll also bitch that, oh, everybody thinks we're all sexist. Everybody thinks we're all homophobic. Everybody thinks we all despise women. Well, yeah, of course people are going to think that. Now, obviously, the people who do believe that, for whatever reason, they're equally as bad, they're equally as incompetent. The actions of a few do not sum up the actions of a whole. When you are part of something, by definition, you are not the totality of everything. So, it's the definition of that word. If you're mad about those people doing that, perhaps consider giving them less ammo. Perhaps consider not giving them more reason to believe that. I don't know. It's a really fucky situation, guys. I tried to speak this from the heart. I've made many takes trying to get my thoughts across because I don't want to get angry on camera. I'm also trying to not be too funny on camera because it's sort of a somber situation, and I don't want to give people the impression that I think any of this is funny. It's just I tend to laugh a lot when I'm nervous. I hope you can recognize that. I'm not used to talking about serious situations, but this is something I really felt needed talking about because I've seen it time and time again. So again, to Lily, I don't want to say yas queen slay. I don't want to. I don't want to say any of that. But you know, I'm sure your performance was fine. The criticism I heard of Ada from the people I actually trust, you know, the people who have had a history of reviewing games, and I can trust that they can properly convey their feelings and they can properly objectively look at a game and point out its faults. And the faults that they have pointed out to me have had nothing to do with with the performance of the Ada Wong character. It has had everything to do with her writing and her role within the story. I would love to be able to give Lily like trolling advice, you know, I would love to be able to say, don't feed the trolls, just ignore them all. But here's the thing. Lily has undergone trolling far more significant than anything I ever have, you know. The trolling I get on my YouTube channel, it's just someone posts a stupid comment, and then it's just someone posts like a really stupid comment and I just ignore it, just pretend it doesn't exist, because like they're obviously looking for my attention, so I'm not giving it to them. But that's very different from a whole swarm of incels coming at you, forcing you to do nothing but respond. And then when you do respond, the mainstream media has to come out and speak about it. Now, I'm happy a lot of the articles have pointed out just how absurd this whole situation is. You know, they've said roughly a lot of the things that I have said, but like I said, it's an industry trend. You see this shit like every year now. And it's only just now hit like the Capcom realm, you know? So I would love to give Lily some good trolling advice, but I've just never come under her amount of fire, so I don't have any authority to do so. All I can say is, you know, I hope this doesn't leave a sour taste in your mouth for the gaming community, because after all, they are a part of the community, and, you know, it's a part that the majority of us, we don't like. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a gamer who, like, actually, non-ironically, likes sexists and incels who isn't a sexist or an incel themselves, you know what I mean? Yeah, it just sucks seeing women get harassed, you know? I'm sure this has happened to, like, male actors as well, but, you know, it's it's starting to become a pattern, you know, when it's like all of the examples I can possibly name are women, you know. I think I'll leave it here. If I keep talking, I'll be at this forever, and I want to keep this short and easy to edit video, you know, just put my kind of thoughts out there, you know. I just want this to be an easily digestible video, so I think I'll leave it here. You know, if you want far less somber Capcom content, please check out the rest of my content. I'm not going to beg anyone to subscribe. I'm not going to list off the people who, I'm not going to give subscribe shout outs because I feel like that's kind of a dick move in this video. Maybe leave some, you know, leave some positive affirmations for her. You know, if you liked her performance, please go ahead and tell her. But, you know, if you, I don't know, if you're shy or something, leave it in the comments. I'm sure I'll agree with you. I think I should just leave it off here before I get like too ranty and rambly. You know, I hope all of you have a good one. You know, I hope maybe this video changes some people's minds. I doubt it's going to change many, because that's just the nature of the internet. But, you know, I hope all of you guys can appreciate this video. Maybe spread it around, you know, get some good hopes in for Lily, because she doesn't really deserve this, you know. All of that being said, I'm going to get going. All of you have a good one.